Okay, quarterbacks that you should pick up. I think Justin Fields is an obvious one. He just showed he can pass for 300 and rush, so I like his matchups coming up. He is proven to be very good. He has the Cowboys this week. The Cowboys lose DeMarcus Lawrence. Micah Parsons is beat up. So definitely a beatable defense there. Justin Fields is. He has a high floor just because of those legs. So if you are panicking, if you have Jalen Hurts on bye or something like that, go for Justin Fields. And then Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't know what else Sam Darnold has to do at this point. He is, I don't think the Vikings are necessarily beating great teams other than the 49ers, and the 49ers were beat up. But, I mean, hey, Sam Darnold is getting the job done, and now Jordan Addison is back. That makes that offense even better. In a couple of weeks, he's going to get TJ Hawkinson back. So I think Sam Darnold is matchup proof. I think at the current moment, until he proves otherwise, I think Sam Darnold's a very good option. And this is a team that, like, they can't really lead on the run and just run the ball over and over. They kind of have to use the pass to set up their running game. And that's really good for Sam Darnold. Other quarterbacks, we'll see what Geno Smith does tonight, but Geno Smith has continued to be really good for fantasy. They run that up-tempo college-style offense, and he's got weapons all over. People continue to doubt Geno Smith, and I understand it, but if he puts together a good performance in prime time, you bet he's going to be one of the top picked-up players. I would prefer to pick him up than Joe Flacco at this current moment. Any other quarterbacks? Weird week. I feel like that's about it. That's about it for quarterbacks. Again, you're not really preparing to be without a lot of quarterbacks this week. You got Anthony Richardson hurt. You got Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts on bye. You're probably not playing Herbert and Levis anyway. You know, and then obviously watch Snoop Huntley tonight. Tyler Huntley plays tonight. He could certainly be great. He's been pretty good for fantasy, decent for fantasy over his career when he's gotten starts. And now he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to throw to. And A-Chain. So definitely worse situations there I would watch for Tyler Huntley. Running backs, Kareem Hunt has to be the top one just because of what he did. I think that backfield is his. Even though Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back, I think Clyde is more of a complimentary guy. So I think this is Hunt's job for a month at least. I like him quite a bit. The Colts situation's interesting. I think Jonathan Taylor's out. Trey Sermon's the next man up. Like I said before, the Colts worked out a veteran named Leonard Fournette earlier this season. I think it was before week 1. Now, so that means they know exactly where he's at. He can come in and play, but they also didn't sign him. So obviously he didn't blow them away to the point where they felt like they needed him on the roster. I just don't think Trey Sermon's very good. So I don't really think you need to pick up Trey Sermon. I know a lot of people are going to be vouching for that. He doesn't excite me. He doesn't move the needle for me. I would pass on that. I would rather spend one fab buck on Fournette as just a speculative ad than, 10 or whatever on Trey Sermon. I just don't get it. I'm not excited about him. Rico Dowdle has been the best running back for the Cowboys. He is definitely somebody who needs to be picked up. Even if Dalvin Cook comes back, I think Rico Dowdle is going to be the number one guy until he's proving he can't do it. We've had a lot of Travis Etienne chatter. And Tank Bigsby is the one who has been running really well there. He definitely needs to be owned. He's had a couple big games. He didn't really play in week 2. He got hurt on special teams and then was out. He may have been out week 3 as well. Can't remember. It's been a long week, but Tank Bigsby's looked really good. He's running extremely well. It makes you wonder why Travis Etienne can't do it. But Tank Bigsby's in a similar situation as Bucky Irving, where he's the better runner at this current moment. He's more decisive. He's a strong runner, and his role is going to continue growing. But Etienne and Rashad White both have a stranglehold on that third down role. So I don't think they're going to be like a bell cow or anything. But if they're the short yardage guy, if they're going to get the red zone carries and they're going to get early down carries, certainly need to be owned. They are considered a handcuff with upside. If you can get a handcuff that you can play in your flex spot every single week, that's awesome. Love that. Roshan Johnson for the Bears. Khalil Herbert's a thing of the past, so now it's DeAndre Swift and Roshan. And it's about time. Roshan Johnson's a stud. I think he's a really good player. DeAndre Swift had a really good game finally, so I don't think he takes over the backfield there. But again, Roshan Johnson appears to be a handcuff with upside, so definitely pick him up in deeper leagues. Tyler Algier is still not owned in enough leagues, under half of leagues. And and same thing with Braylon Allen. And obviously, I'm a Wisconsin guy, so I actually really love Braylon Allen. Tyler Algier is not going to go away either, though. But how many studs need to go down in fantasy, especially at the running back position, before we realize if there's a true handcuff, please pick them up. So if you are a Bijan Robinson owner, make sure you have Tyler Algier, please. It's way more valuable than insert whatever bumfuck running back who's going to get 8 carries every week and just never grow in value. Pick up Tyler Algier if you're a Bijan Robinson owner. Pick up Braylon Allen if you're a Breece Hall owner. And even if you're not one of those owners, I mean, that just sounds like trade bait in the future, or you're going to randomly have a really good running back some week, because we've seen Jonathan Taylor get hurt, Christian McCaffrey get hurt, and then obviously Josh Jacobs is getting a huge workload. He could get hurt. Aaron Jones has a huge workload. He could get hurt. So we're talking about Emmanuel Wilson until Marshawn Lloyd comes back for Green Bay. We're talking about Tyler Chandler in Minnesota. You just got to, at some point, you have to handcuff these guys. If there's true, obvious handcuffs, please handcuff them. And for Arizona, I think it's Trey Benson. It's only a matter of time before James Conner goes down, so definitely look at him. Keaton Mitchell, I don't think he's a handcuff, but he's going to be coming back pretty soon. He is somebody who's very interesting to be that lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder in the running game. I like Justice Hill. I don't think Justice Hill is going away. But if you're selling me Keaton Mitchell's going to get the blocking that Derrick Henry's been blocking or getting blocking, I mean, that's just a home run waiting to happen. I like it a lot. Any other running backs? Bucky Irving still under-owned in too many leagues. I mean, he's the same situation as Tank Bigsby, as Tyler Algier. Handcuff with upside. Go pick up Bucky Irving, please. Please. Don't be the person be like, oh, man, my team's 1-3, and I had Rashad White, and now I don't have this guy. Now I don't have Bucky Irving. That's your fault. Go pick him up. Okay, wide receivers. This is the big one this week, even though we just named a bunch of running backs. A lot of running backs need to be owned more. But no Rashee Rice, no Amon Ra next week. Rashee Rice out, Amon Ra on bye. Obviously, the Philly receivers are hurt, but they're also on bye. So definitely wide receivers that need to get picked up here. And let's start with Wan'Dale Robinson. Obviously, played on Thursday. I think a lot of people were introduced to Wan'Dale Robinson, which is good because he's a great player. Obviously, playing underneath while Malik Neighbors does his thing. Neighbors is insane, but Robinson's super talented. He's just been plagued by injuries in the past, years. But Wan'Dale Robinson's going to continue to work underneath. In PPR especially, he's going to be a target monster. So go ahead and pick him up. Josh Downs, playing in the second week, coming back from injury. Expanded role this week, 1, because he's just getting healthier and getting work back into the game plan. But 2, because Joe Flacco's in there. And with all the pass rush and stuff, they could just check it down to Josh Downs. I don't think that's necessarily going to change. And as long as Flacco's in there, I like Downs even more. Definitely needs to get picked up. 9 targets, 82 yards and a touchdown this week. 8 catches. Not necessarily a fluke. I mean, the touchdown, I don't think he's going to have super high touchdown upside. But especially in PPR leagues, I think he's a wide receiver 3 with upside pretty commonly if he has Joe Flacco throwing him the ball. Trey Tucker, we talked about him earlier. Second-year receiver out of Cincinnati. He has now played 80+% of the snaps in back-to-back weeks. He played nearly 80% of the snaps, I believe, in week 1 as well. So it's not like Devontae Adams is here and he's not playing. Devontae Adams is gone. He has an every week role, but we've seen what the Raiders look like without Devontae Adams. Trey Tucker is featured. He gets the ball in a variety of ways. I think he's a very good player to pick up right now, especially because Devontae Adams is hurt, but the Raiders could turn around and trade him at any moment, especially if they start losing a bunch of games. So that would only open up more value for Trey Tucker, who I think is a wide receiver 4 with upside. Has been very good the past couple of weeks. I would probably put him as wide receiver 4 with upside, though. Dontavian Wicks, another maybe wide receiver 4 with upside. I think he's super talented. Christian Watson out. So Wicks is going to get a little bit more targets. He is the best route runner on the team, minus Jaden Reed. He might be better than Jaden Reed at route running. He's more explosive. He's just very, very good. I just don't think the targets are going to be super reliable. And then you have to deal with the inaccuracy of Jordan Love as well. So I don't think he's going to be super consistent, but he's worth a speculative pickup in deeper leagues, I think. Rookie Jordan Whittington came alive a little bit. He's someone who I've been talking about a couple of weeks. He is the guy that sees a big boost in value, I think, with Cooper Kupp out. I think he's going to operate from the slot a lot. Tutu Atwell continues to play super well. He needs to be owned as well. But I think Jordan Whittington's going to see quite a bit of targets underneath. So as long as Cooper Kupp is out, go ahead and pick him up, especially in PPR leagues. Anybody else at wide receiver that I'm missing? Xavier Legette. I think he's a good player. He's getting a ton of snaps. And again, the Panthers are a team that I would assume, are going to be in trades coming up. They could trade Adam Thielen, and they could they're for sure trading Deontay Johnson. They have to. Deontay Johnson's in the final year of his deal, and he's been playing pretty well. So look for Deontay Johnson to go to the Chiefs. If you want to buy Deontay Johnson before he gets traded to a better situation, I certainly think you can do that as well. But that only opens up even more targets for Xavier Legette. So I think you can definitely pick him up. And his role should only grow throughout the season. I think that's about it. Mike Williams, go see if he's out there. I like him. I like him as a player. The Jets' offense should certainly be better than what they showed, right? Couldn't get much worse. And he still had an okay day. Okay, tight ends, and then we will do our defense streamers, and then we'll answer any final questions you guys got, and we'll get the hell out of here. So, I just exited where I had them. Okay, tight ends. Kind of a weird week. There isn't a ton of players to pick up. I mean, you can go for Taysom Hill. I don't think that's going to be super reliable. You know what I mean? So it is what it is there. He always kills the Falcons, though. So next time they play the Falcons, I would pick him up. Cade Otton, he is not super exciting. He's not super exciting to watch. He's not overly exciting for fantasy. But there are very, very, very few tight end options where they just don't really have competition to push them for snaps or anything like that. So if you're struggling at tight end, if you've been rolling out Mark Andrews still, I mean, look for Cade Otton. I think he's a reliable few points for you every single week. And then if he happens to catch a touchdown, then that's fantastic. I forgot to look. I think Eric All is somebody like that as well. The rookie out of Iowa for the Bengals. He's a pretty good player, and he's getting snaps there. What did he finish with this week? Eric All, 4 catches, 28 yards on 4 targets. I think that's going to be about where he's going to be. Again, does that blow you away? Absolutely not. But if he catches a touchdown, that's a top-ranking tight end week. And otherwise, that's just steady points. So if you're in a deep league, and again, you're starting Mark Andrews or somebody like that, and you're really struggling at tight end, or if you need a bye-week streamer, I think Eric All can definitely be picked up and relied on for a few points, which is all you kind of need. You just need your tight end not to lose you the week. And somebody like Cade Otton, Zach Ertz, Eric All, players like that, I think you can be relied on for 6 points in PPR leagues. That's all we need. Give us 6, and that is fine. Let me bring up really quick Yahoo tight end ownership because I'm just interested to see where people are. Okay. So players who I think you can pick up someone better. Kyle Pitts is owned in 98% of leagues. There's people better. Mark Andrews is owned in 97% of leagues. He is droppable. I wouldn't drop him. I'd try to trade him, but he is droppable. David Njoku hasn't been playing. He should come back next week, hopefully. He's owned in 75% of leagues. Dalton Schultz is owned in 70% of leagues. He's droppable. Mike Gesicki is owned in 50% of leagues. I think you can get better than him. Tyler Conklin didn't have a good week, but he can get better. Zach Ertz is owned in 30% of leagues still. That blows my mind. Just take the free points. Zach Ertz has 16 targets this season in 4 weeks. So he's averaging 4 targets a week. Go get it. It's right there. Colby Parkinson has had 12 targets the past 2 weeks. He has had 5 or more targets in 3 of the 4 games. Go get Colby Parkinson. And again, I'm not saying to start him over the obvious studs. I'm not saying to pick up these guys and put them on your bench. Who cares? You're not going to win based on bench points. But don't actively shoot yourself in the foot with Mark Andrews, with maybe Kyle Pitts, with Mike Gesicki, with people like that. Cade Otton. Cade Otton has 17 targets the past 2 weeks, 13 catches. Go pick him up. In Yahoo, he is owned in 15% of leagues. It's insane. Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft is very clearly the tight end to own in Green Bay. He just came off of a really good week, 9 targets, 6 catches, 53 yards on a touchdown. Will that be sustainable? Hell no. But I think he's going to see a steady 3 targets per game, 3-4 targets per game. That's fine. That's fine for a bye week fill-in. It is what it is. Yeah, Eric All owned in 1% of leagues. He has gotten 4 targets in every single game he has played. 4, 4, 4. Easy as that. Anybody else to own for tight end? Or at least look at? Probably not. Not for the most part. But yeah, go pick up those guys. Or at least look to see if they're out there, see if they're a better option for you. Maybe you trade your tight end who's borderline bad, right, to someone who has a terrible tight end situation. Then you pick up one of these guys because it's really not that big of a downgrade. That's certainly a strategy to take as well. Okay, and let's talk about streaming defenses. I will talk about defenses owned in less than 60% of Yahoo fantasy leagues. If they're owned in more than 60%, I'm just assuming you can't pick them up, right? Because the majority of leagues will not have these guys. So looking at week 5, I mean, Seattle plays tonight, so we'll see how they do. It'll be a short week for them, but they play the Giants next week. They're owned in 27%. I like that. The Broncos play the Raiders next week. Broncos are at home as well. They're owned in 17%. Broncos have been good. Broncos have gotten double-digit fantasy points in 3 of 4 weeks. I like that a lot. Patriots, I don't love this a ton. We'll see how Tyler Huntley does tonight. But Patriots are owned in 3% of leagues. Patriots play the Dolphins next week. So I think that definitely could be a matchup where they are okay, right? If you have a defense on bye, you're in a deep league. Patriots are okay next week. And the Raiders, owned in 26% of leagues, they play the Broncos next week. They will also be okay next week. And I think Max Crosby will be back for them, hopefully. Washington's owned in 1% of leagues. They play the Browns next week. I am pretty confident that the Browns are not going to embarrass the Washington Commanders. the opposite could happen, but I don't think the Browns are going to light the world on fire. Commanders' defense is not very good. They're not overly skilled. They're playing hard, which is all you can really ask for. Owned in 1% of leagues. If you're in a 16-team league or something like that, your defense is out next week, or they're just playing shitty. They have a bad matchup. Go ahead and pick up Washington. But that should be plenty of options for you guys. One of those will be available. I like them all. They're all perfectly fine. And of course, Wednesday night, we'll be going over my rankings here in the Flurry Sports YouTube channel. So you will be able to see my rankings then. And on flurrysports.org throughout the week, you can look at defensive rankings there. You can look at the rest of the rankings there to see if I have someone available ranked higher than the people you got. Let's win week 5. This is where the fantasy players start winning. First 4 weeks, there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of chaos. Obviously, we've talked to people today that are 1-3 and freaking out. I get it. However, now bye weeks start. The committed players are going to be searching the waiver wire. They're going to be planning for the bye weeks. They're going to figure out how to get wins from now until week 14. Let's stay on it. Let's get the right bye week fill-ins. Let's get some fucking wins. Let's go get it. Come back this Wednesday, and we will help you once again. We will see you then. I will see you then. If you have any questions after the fact, after this video, comment them under the video. I will answer them, or go to Twitter or X at Fantasy Flurry. You can tweet them at me, and I will answer you there as well.